What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is the 6th holiday beer review for the month of December 2024, and it comes from the Saint Louis Brewery, aka Schlafly, and they are out of St. Louis, Missouri, and this is their Christmas Ale, the 2024 release. So this is an ale with spices that comes in at 8% alcohol by volume, 22 IBUs at the time of review. And this bottle is just under 6 weeks old. So I've only had 2 beers from Schlafly in my entire life, and that's because here in the Buffalo, New York area for many years, we did not get distribution of their beers. However, over the past year and a half, I have seen others show up. I've reviewed one of their beers on the channel, and that was their iconic pumpkin ale. I reviewed that one back in October of 2018 for the inaugural 10 Days of Pumpkin, which is now a thing that I do every single year, but that is a great pumpkin ale. If you've never had it before, check it out. They released a vanilla version this year that I didn't get a chance to try. Hopefully they re-release it again next year, and I'll include it in next year's 10 Days of Pumpkin. The other beer I had from them was their oatmeal stout. I want to say it was back in like 2013. It was pretty solid, but yeah, I typically don't see their beers, but I've seen like their coffee stout and a couple others recently, like in the past 6 months. But when I was in Mentor, Ohio on a day trip, I saw this one. I was like, I'm going to grab it. I need to try it. If it shows up here, cool. I think this one did show up in the West New York area, but I already picked it up, so whatever. We're reviewing it. So this is your typical American winter warmer, a big ale. This one is basically an imperial ale, brewed with your baking/holiday spices. They say on the label here, a special release Christmas ale is available for a limited time with a new style every few months. They're talking about, like seasonals. And then it says Schlafly Christmas Ale is a warming winter ale that blends the spices of the season with sweet caramel malt. They don't specify the spices on their website. However, they do say that the spices that are typically seen in wassail or like a mulled wine, you'll see in here. So, there's a lot of similarities between like pumpkin ales and winter warmers here in the US. It's just a lot of your typical baking spices, your cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, clove, ginger, the whole nine, right? So I'll be curious to see if I can pick out specific spices. We're using the Christmasification glass, but with Homer instead of Cousin Eddie, and we're gonna give it a pour and see how this one is. So yeah, so it's pouring out that rich, almost like, again, pumpkin ale, kind of has like a ruby red, almost burnt caramel kind of color. Ruby red, like a burnt red. Yeah, it looks nice. So in the glass, beautiful looking beer. Again, it has more of that like ruby red, kind of almost like, I'd say like rust color. Has almost 2 fingers of this straight up tan colored head. It looks kind of creamy with a little bit of soap sudsy feel to it. There are some bigger bubbles, but it looks really nice in the glass. And then, if you want to get that, but that's probably not cool, but that's got Cousin Eddie, or Homer as Cousin Eddie out there, just chilling, emptying the RV, as it goes. Let's get a nose. All right, I didn't actually look up the light, but yeah, the clarity is nice. Good clarity, but on my camera, it's going to be darker, so no, but good clarity. Definitely filtered beer. You know what this reminds me of? You're going to see these probably a week apart, or definitely a week apart, but the Boulevard, a winter warmer, their Nutcracker Ale, this kind of has those similar aroma to it anyway. Yeah, lots of like sweet caramelized sugar. Like it has a big molasses vibe to it. Caramel toffee. Almost fruitcakey because it has like cherry and like dried fruits in here, like dried apricot. Maybe a dried peach. A little bit of like a figgy plum thing going on. And then the spices in this one, it's more of a like a, I would say more of like a like an allspice, or maybe like a clove. Maybe even a coriander. It's not super big. It's definitely in the nose anyway. It's not like cinnamon, nutmeg. It has a little bit of like now I'm getting a little bit of cinnamon. Like almost like a cinnamon, like like big red, like bubble gum, but not too big. The one time I mentioned it being overwhelming in a beer was Sam Adams' Jacko that tasted like big red gum in beer form. A little bit too much. But yeah, I like that the spices are a little bit more gentle in this one. They're not like popping out of the glass in a good way, because sometimes these can be too spiced, just like pumpkin ales, where you get one and it's like, oh, that's a clove bomb or that's a cinnamon bomb. I don't want that. I want a nice cohesive blend of the spices to kind of accentuate whatever base beer. And this is, a generic imperial ale, but the imperial ale, again, very winter warmer-esque, very pumpkin beer-esque, minus the pumpkin, just has a good malty, kind of sweeter, caramelized sugar, fruity vibe. This smells really good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Happy holidays. Nice. So right off the rip, this reminds me of the Nutcracker Ale from Boulevard with a little bit more of accentuation from the spice. Best way I could put it. Body is substantial on this one, 8%. I was thinking, bigger body. This is like lower side of full, maybe medium full. There's a heft here. This is definitely perfect for this season where, you want a warming kind of sensation to it. I'm getting that. It's, but at the same time, it's not just like, it's not really boozy. It's just warming going down, but the body actually matches that, where a lot of times it doesn't. This does. This is like, I would say this is like medium full body. Mouthfeel, mild to moderate carbonation, more approaching moderate, but still a little bit softer than anticipated. Smooth. There's a touch of creaminess. Color me impressed with the body and mouthfeel. I don't know why I thought this was going to be thin, or maybe the mouthfeel not being as impressive as it is, but the body and mouthfeel are definitely working hand in hand to kind of prop up the experience of this beer, which, again, I wasn't fully expecting. Nice glass lacing already on the glass as well. Another sip. So the forefront is all that malty goodness I talked about. First thing that's hitting me is really, it's a big blast of like molasses and toffee. It's like intertwining. There's a little bit of a caramel. There's a big like brown bread kind of presence. Again, it's giving me slight fruitcake vibes up front because of that caramelized sugar that quickly transitions into the darker fruits like the plum, the cherry, but it's like dried cherry. It's dried plum, or I should say dried apricot. So it's like plum, it's cherry, it's dried apricot, maybe even like a dried like mango. It has those kind of dried fruits you would see in a fruitcake, but also some other dark fruits, and it has that, again, that big like brown bread kind of presence. Honestly, that's the vast majority of the palate. That's like 3/4 of the palate. On the finish, I do get a little bit of spices, and it's more, like I said, in that clovey, slight coriander, a touch of cinnamon. I don't know what the spices are in here. I'm not really getting any like significant nutmeg. I wouldn't say ginger. I would say in order, clove, coriander, cinnamon. And what it's doing is it's really drying out the palate. Like a lot of times I've mentioned cinnamon dryness in my reviews. It has like that drying cinnamon character, where this is full on dry from what I think the spices are doing. It could be from the alcohol, could be from the beer as just a whole, but it definitely has a firm dryness. It's not bone dry, but it's firmly dry. Very mild bitterness. Is not bitter beer to speak of in general. It has more of a dryness than anything else, but this is a greatly balanced beer. I am incredibly impressed by this, if you can't tell. Like I say this every now second review, but preconceived notions are a thing when it comes to life as a whole, but more specifically reviews of any kind. You go into them with a bias. You go into them thinking, hey, I like this style, I don't. I like this brewery, I don't. Whatever the case may be. With Schlafly, I know they're a quality brewery. The pumpkin ale is fantastic. But when you talk about American winter warmers and spiced beers, it's like, well, what kind of, is it going to be over the top with the spices? Is it going to be more subtle? Am I going to taste the 8%? What's going to happen? What happened here is it's a really nice base beer, accentuated by the spices. This is not like over the top in terms of flavor, but it's nice, and I could drink a couple of these. The drinkability is through the roof, in my opinion. Yeah, the ABV, again, it's kind of masked as a whole. There is a little bit of astringency now, though, as it warms up a little bit, as it opens up in the glass. A little bit on the palate. I do get a nice warming chest and in the stomach. So I wouldn't say it masks it extremely well, but well enough where I'm not drinking this and going, oh, that's an 8% beer for sure. Like, I would say like 7.5 I was doing a blind. So it hides it a little bit, but not much. And I don't really care, because winter warmers, you want to have that warming sensation, which is apparent. I just, a little bit of that astringency might knock it. I might knock it a little bit for that, but as a whole, like, I can't complain too much. Again, very well balanced. The spices are integrated almost perfectly into the base beer. As far as like a winter warmer that I've had with spices, this is one of the better ones that I've had in the last couple of years. It's a very well-constructed, cohesive winter warmer, American winter warmer. And the reason why I specify American winter warmer, I don't know if you go to BJCP, if they like separate the difference, or if even winter warmer is an official style, but Old English winter warmers let the core four ingredients kind of speak for themselves, where American winter warmer kind of rely on spices. This is one of the better ones that I've had as far as just a straight-on winter warmer with some spices. I think the base beer, even though they just call it an ale with spices, the base beer is kind of like an imperial red ale or like an imperial amber. Like, it has character to it. It's not just this generic ale that we're going to dump a bunch of spices on top of, because those beers suck. This does not suck. One more sip, I'm going to lock in a rating, because I don't know where I'm going to go with this one. This is not going to be for everyone, but then again, if you don't like the spices you see in a pumpkin ale, you're probably not going to pick this one up. But be forewarned, when you see a winter warmer, for the most part, it's American winter warmer, it says ale with spices, and it's a winter beer, there's going to be similar spices you see in a pumpkin ale. It's how it goes. It's not going to be exact, but you're going to be similar. You're going to see cinnamon, you're going to see nutmeg, you're going to see ginger and clove and this and that. So if you don't like pumpkin ales, most American winter warmers you will not enjoy. I love pumpkin ales. I love trying them. So I really dig this one. So I'm going to give Christmas Ale, the 2024 release from Schlafly, I'm going to go straight 4.25 out of 5. I gave the Boulevard, I think, a 4.1. This is a little bit better than that. I do think the spices bring out a little bit more of like a balance to it, and just like the Boulevard one, I'm comparing it because, again, that's a recent one. The Boulevard one was really nice, don't get me wrong, and they relied just on the core four ingredients. The Chinook hops brought that spiciness. This brings the actual spices, and I think I like the spices in this one a little bit more. So yeah, I'm going to say 4.25 out of 5. Higher than I thought I was going to give it, even though I say don't go into reviews and preconceived notions, as I already said in this review. Sometimes you do, and I'm an idiot, so. All right, price point availability. I paid like $2.29 for that bottle, and 4 packs were like $11.99. I got this one in Mentor, Ohio, at Red Wine and Brew. I'm sure in New York probably be similar, maybe $12.99 a 6-pack, something like that. But for an 8% winter warmer, American winter warmer with spices, around $2 a bottle, all day, every day, especially since I gave it a 4.25. And availability, I have no idea with Schlafly. Absolutely zero. I'm not even going to guess. I just know that over the past year and a half, we've seen more of their stuff in the Buffalo, New York area. So if you're watching this review, post a comment section. Do you get Schlafly? Have you had this one? Have you had a prior vintage? Let me know what you think about this one. Would you try it? Does it sound good? Yeah, 4.25 is a really high score, and this deserves it. I think this is a great winter warmer, and something that most people should check out if you have access to Schlafly. You're somebody who likes the holiday spirit, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever. When this, basically around Thanksgiving through New Year's, if you're somebody who loves this time of the year, then try this one out if you like craft beer and you like spicy beers. I don't see how you would go wrong with this one. Like I said, the ABV is definitely noticeable, chest, stomach, a little bit on the palate, but I'm looking past that a little bit because I think the flavors are really nice in here. And I'll leave you with this. The thing that I enjoy the most, as we turn on the Grinch, who had turned off after probably like 3 or 4 minutes, the thing I really dig about this one is that, again, they didn't go nuts with the spices. They let the spices accentuate the base beer, work in cohesion with the base beer, blend together in a perfect harmony of goodness, and they just didn't throw a bunch of cinnamon, nutmeg. We're like, oh, it's our Christmas ale, whatever. It tastes like doing the cinnamon challenge or whatever. No, they didn't do that, and that's why I enjoy this one a lot. I wish I would have bought a couple more bottles. I'm going to see if this is around here. Like I said, we do get some of their stuff. I have not personally seen this one, but I'm pretty sure it made it in the Western New York area, so I might grab 1 or 2 just to have and drink off camera. Anyway, I'm shutting this one down. Another holiday beer review in the book for this year. We got some more upcoming, and I'm loving this. I love dressing up and doing all the fun things. Next year, I'm going to get some lights behind me, make it even more of a thing. And this is carbonated, despite the fact that I don't think it's all that carbonated. Whatever. Shut it down. Check back next Tuesday for another holiday beer review. And then, next Tuesday, I'm trying to think. I think next Tuesday is actually, is it New Year's Eve? I think it's New Year's Eve. Or it's New Year's Eve, fuck. Yeah, it's 8%. I'm getting hammered. It's Christmas Eve, and then Wednesday is Christmas. So I think, whatever, just check back. It's a whole thing. You'll see it. Till the next one. Cheers.